video.
Okay. Good morning. So maybe, should we maybe give it a couple more minutes?
Yeah, we'll give a couple more minutes.
Okay, okay.
I'm gonna grab them.
Help yourself, Edgar. Thank you.
You want to talk for a video? He wants it on.
Does anyone
Why,
find
he has
it?
two. Oh, for her.
Guts, good morning. How are you?
Morning.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. Okay.
Hi, everybody. We're going to have a presentation today with Diamond Residential Mortgage on renovation loans. We're just going to allow another couple minutes for everybody to log in. Hopefully we get more of a crowd. This is going to be recorded as well. So if you missed this class, I'll be emailing it to everybody. Okay, so just momentarily, we'll get started, and I'm going to hand this over to Radlam from Diamond Mortgage, Residential Mortgage. Okay.
My mic was off, so I'm not sure if that works.
Yeah, it's
Oh, it's that one. Okay.
Do you announce it? Do you announce it?
Yeah, we do. Okay, let's go ahead and get started.
Okay. So just want to test one more time. Carla, are you able to hear us?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for confirming
You're
that.
welcome.
So good morning. So today we are gonna just do a little presentation on a renovation loan or that Diamond Residential offers. Specifically, there are two types of renovation loans. One is the FHA 203K loans, which is, of course, designed for borrowers who are actually applying for an FHA loan. So that if they are applying for FHA loan either to purchase a property that requires renovations or to refinance a property that requires renovation. So if their main loan is an FHA loan, then we would apply the 203K renovation program to them. And if they are actually applying for a conventional loan, then the Fannie Mae has a renovation program called Home Style Renovation. Then that's what we would apply. I mean, each program has certain restrictions or requirements. So that's that's why we have to figure out which program to go with. But today since we have limited time, so we are gonna just discuss like FHA 203K loan today. Okay, so and then we will probably try to schedule like another session for the home style renovation loan. So would you like to start? Okay.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming in and showing up on the meeting. My name is Brenda. I'm also part of a Diamond Residential lending division. We have that renovation loan that we want to bring it to you guys because I think it's a very good tool to use. Not right now, but maybe in the future. I know the market it's kind of crazy, or at least everybody is saying. But yeah, our renovation program is a 203K program that it's an FHA guidelines. And what it is that we can buy a house with some that needs some home improvements, and we can finance that. Okay, that's going to be a one loan. It's not going to be like we fund on one, then we lend you a second loan to do the renovation. It's not like that. We're going to go ahead and finance the whole lump sum amount. What it does is that we need a contractor to give you a bid to see how much that the property needs. And based on that contractor's bid, it's a little bit of a process. It's not I'm sorry?
We'll break down, maybe I'll go to the
Oh,
next
okay.
page.
Am I
Yeah.
going too fast for you?
Let me just move forward and make sure we.
Because we don't have that much time. So I
Right,
want to
right.
give you as much information as I can. But if you guys have any questions, you can always come to us and let us know and ask us more details about the program, okay? So you tell me, Rella.
Okay, sure. Let me, for some reason, I'm not able to move. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm the wrong screen here. So I apologize. Okay. There you go. So let's go down to just a quick presentations. Right, so
Mhm.
this is just a basic intro regarding the program. And so we at Diamond Residential have a dedicated construction and renovation department. So with and the our support team there are very well, it's very experienced. Let's say probably a lot more experienced than we are, Brenda and myself, because they have done a lot of those renovation loans, and Brenda and I are we're certified to do renovation loan, but I think have you done any
2 or 3 cases, yes.
2 or 3? Okay.
Mhm.
So I try a couple times, but have not succeeded. So Brenda would be probably the more experienced one here. But let's move. So maybe you want to talk about the why maybe some of our agents might want to consider renovation lending.
Like I was saying earlier, they have it's a very good product for properties are need some extra additional work and they don't finance, they cannot be financed under our FHA products. It is an FHA product, like I said, but we have the benefit of giving them the improvements that they need to qualify, and we'll finance that and from that construction amount too, you know.
Yeah, we just skip some of these like
Yeah, it's
intro
just
stuff, right?
information.
Yeah. So this is just a little summary about the 203K, but we'll go to the more like the meaty part of the program. Okay. So let me move toward the next right here.
So in short, a renovation loan is a 203K, right?
So renovation loan, you have basically have 2 types. One is called a home style renovation loan, which is a Fannie Mae program for conventional, right? And then the 203K is for FHA loan. So it's coupled with the FHA program. So maybe talk a little bit about basically borrower eligibility, I guess, to qualify for the FHA 203K, which by the way, the FHA has a so-called like a standard 203K and also like a limited. So standard usually applies to work that exceeds 35,000 in cost, renovation cost, and the limited applies to cost that is less than 35,000 in total. So we'll break it down in a couple of minutes. But in general, you need to be a US citizen or resident, with green card, and maybe certain so-called non-permanent resident, like people are in the DACA program, the immigration program.
Those are eligible too.
Right, and then you got to have like social security numbers and stuff like that, and you cannot qualify for a renovation 203K loan if you are one of these entities right here. So it mainly applies to real person, live person, right? To qualify for a we'll pick up on well, I'm going to finish this also since we are in this slide. I mean, we're using our training guides as the presentations, material. So I just want to quickly, in terms of appraisal, so they use for both the 2 or 3K program standard and limited, right? So they use a so-called after improved value. So that means they will have an appraisal done before the loan is closed, and the appraiser will obviously, this appraiser will have the bids from the general contractors. That's include the total cost to renovate the property, and also what will be done on the properties. So the appraiser will be able to give the lender us an appraisal report showing what they think the after improved or after completed value will be, and with that we will be able to determine the loan amount the borrower will be able to borrow. With these, well, I'll just skip to the next one. You want to talk a bit about maybe the loan amount?
Yeah, the qualifications is like we said, it's an FHA guideline, so it's based on FHA loan limits. We do have there's no second on this one, like we said, and it's we can finance up to 110% after improvements of the value of the property. So once we get the bid, we submit it to the underwriter and everything, and they'll tell us how much up to we can finance with that program. Okay. Debt ratios is the same thing. This is pretty much internal. The borrower has to qualify based on FHA guidelines and income guidelines too. Okay.
So the thing is, is so you could basically the LTV, right, could be up to 100%, 110% of the after completed value. So in a purchase transaction, so the loan to value is based on the lesser of the 110% of the after completed value, or the national, I guess, loan limit. And how they calculate the loan to value is, they look at the purchase price plus renovation cost. So minus any sales concession. So again, to determine the loan amount, they look at the purchase price plus the renovation cost versus 110% of the after completed value provided by the appraisal report. So they use the lesser amount. So let's say if the purchase price plus the after the renovation cost is less than 100% of the after improved value, then they use a purchase price plus the renovation cost as the loan amount that the borrower will be able to qualify for. And that's for purchase. And then in a refinance situations, so the LTV is going to be based on, is the lesser of the, they look at the let's say if the property has a mortgage, so that's the existing debt, and they also add in the closing costs and any prepaid, and then also the renovation cost, and then they compare that to the 110% of the after completed value, and again they determine which one is the lower amount. They use that as the number to go with. You want to talk a bit about contingency reserve? You want me to talk? Yeah. So contingency reserve is just part of the renovation loan process again. So the purpose. So contingency reserve is just something we consider. So the purpose of a contingency reserve is to cover the unforeseen repairs that are discovered during the renovation process. So what happened is after we close the loan, we allow the contractor to draw a certain amount, right, in the initial draw to cover the cost. We'll go over what type of cost will be allowed at the initial draws. But for every draw, the lender will basically keep 10% of the total amount of each draw as a way to make sure we cover unforeseen stuff. Let's say during the process, right, something happened, they discover something that needs additional funds to pay to cover. So the contingency reserve held by us, the lender, is going to help pay for, maybe try to cover those unforeseen stuff. So that's what is contingency reserve. And usually, you know, with all of the renovation loans, we do have that requirements. And I apologize, we kind of jumped, it seemed like we jumped back and forth, but again, that we just want to hit all the highlights of a 203K you know, loan. And we feel like, you know, we just basically go to the you know, kind of meaty and greedy parts of the renovation loan. So contractor, obviously in a renovation loan, right, we do have to have a general contractor to be involved. I mean, I should say, you know, on a standard, under the 203 standard, which is again, any renovation that requires more than 35,000, it's called like a standard 203K, and anything less than that is a called limited 203K. And with a standard one, we need a general contractor to be involved, and in a limited one, we don't. We could just have regular contractors. You want to touch a little bit about the requirements? No. So yeah, so these are just some requirements for when we look at when we try to approve a contractor to be involved with the project. So they have to with the for example, with the standard 203K, we do have to have you know, the general contractor fill out a form for us, and you know, to make sure we have all the information and let out the renovation or construction department basically approve them before they can be involved with the project. And you usually, when you have a you know, a project that involves that could, I mean, that involves the cost that it could exceed 100,000, we usually would require them to meet certain type of experience requirements. And if let's say if they don't really have the experience, then we will need to use other methods to qualify them, such as background check or credit check. And the general contractor got to have you know, license, properly licensed, and they also need to carry certain liability insurance to make sure basically their minimum requirement is the coverage has to have like 500,000 per occurrence, or you know, up to $1 million in aggregate. And they got to have you know, work if they are going to employ workers to do the work at you know, on the project, that need to have got to have provide proof of workers compensations insurance. And if the project is going to involve maybe somebody has questions. Oh, okay. So if the project actually will involve maybe lead-based paint and maybe some other more like hazardous material, the contractor got to have, you know, proof of certification to handle those materials.
是谁呀？清楚吗？
Have a little echo, right?
Is your mic off?
My. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not me. Carla?
Yes.
Yes, are you able to hear me clearly, or is there any echo?
There was an echo for a second.
Okay, so right now it's okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much again for
You're
helping confirming that. All right, let's move on. Let's see to the next topic. Is there anything you wanted? Maybe I'll maybe touch on, Brandon?
No, I think that's good.
Okay. Again, we apologize for again, it seemed like we're jumping all over the place with the presentation, but again, I just want to maybe touch on all the essential kind of, I'm so sorry, all the essential points or important requirements of the 203K renovation loan. So the next item we want to talk about is the draw itself, right? We mentioned that once well, again, depends on the type of renovation we're doing, either standard or 203K. So once the loan has been approved and we close, after we close the loan, then the general contractor or the borrower, would be able to request a certain, so we like for the standard 203K, we allow 5 drawers. So the initial drawer could covers these items right here, your permit costs, your prepaid, architectural and engineering fees, prepay for consultant fees. I haven't mentioned the around the consultant fee. So basically, with this just standard 203K, again, where the renovation cost will exceed 35,000. So under that program, the borrower will need to get a HUD consultant to be involved. Basically, a HUD consultant is somebody who's certified by HUD to help the basically lender verify the cost and the work to be done on the project. So the consultant will charge a fee. So the consultant will be involved with every step of the way, from the time we start the application to the closing, and also along the way. So with every time the general contractor requests a drawer, the HUD consultant will have to do an inspection first to verify the job has been completed properly before the basically the consultant signs up on the drawer request from the general contractor.
Question, Radler.
Yes, Carla, hi.
Sorry.
No problem.
The inspector sounds like it's on the lender side and it's not from the city or county.
That's correct.
Right?
The consultant, I believe are you referring to the consultant, right?
The inspector. Once
Well,
you get before a draw.
Well, the inspector from the city, of course, if you work on a project, you still need to be right. I mean, you still need to get permits from the city. And
okay, be in compliance.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So yeah, so the city, you still have to go through. Obviously, it depends on each city's requirements. So
both,
right, you still have to go
the
through
city and
Right. So
city
HUD
and the
consultant is
lenders.
actually, is not the same as the city inspector. So the HUD consultant is actually is basically paid by the borrower and is required by the lender, and the borrower is the, basically the one paying, responsible for finding the HUD consultant. And they will work with the lender, and they work with the general contractor to make, basically throughout the process to make, so in a way, the HUD consultant is to help the lender, verify that each step is done correctly, each process.
Okay,
Yes, but then obviously on the permit side, right, the work still has to be inspected by the city inspectors also.
got it.
As
Thank you.
required by the permit to that, right?
Okay.
Thank you for your question. And again, so again, the drawer could, the initial drawer could be could take into account. So the initial drawer could be, could cover the all these items right here. That's on a standard 203K again, which is in situation where the total cost will exceed 35,000. And in the so-called limited 203K, where the total cost would be 35,000 or less. So these are the fees that could be included in the initial draw. And then it tells you right here, basically in the so for standard 203K, we do allow up to 5 drawers, and with each draw, 10% holdback is required for each. And this is part of the so-called contingency reserve we mentioned earlier. And it says right here, so HUD consultant would perform an inspection prior to every draw, so including the final inspection, and basically help us, kind of, verify everything. So on the lender side, right, we got to have somebody to help us, verify each phase of the project, and each time a contractor requests a draw. So we got to have somebody to help us, do that, to verify the work done. So basically, the HUD consultant is the one responsible for that. And limited 203K. So usually with the limited 203K, I mean, I believe they have the one initial draw, and then the final draw is when the work is all has been completed. And again, the limited 203K program does not require HUD consultant because the total cost is less than 35,000. But the borrower does have an options of hiring a HUD consultant, just to help them with the process, but it's not required.
Question.
Yes, Gus.
So it's 5 withdrawals the bank will allow.
Yes.
Each withdrawal, you're holding 10%.
Yes, it's a.
It doesn't.
Mhm.
Pardon me, it doesn't make sense. If you already got in a consultant, he's already approved the first withdrawal, and
Right.
everything's okay. Why would you hold in a second? And so you hold in 5 times. That's 50%. You hold it in the whole process. Are they going to get back the money to them, or the
Yes.
money the bank is going to hold forever?
Yes, no. Basically the 10% held for from each draw will be again just to make sure we have some reserves to cover any
I
unforeseen.
understand that.
Right.
I understand. what-
Yes, it will be.
But
It
if
will.
you have a HUD guy that goes there and say, okay, this is done perfect,
Yes.
and you get it, then why would they hold another 10% of the next draw, and then the next draw, and then the next? draw?
Because the
That's 50%.
yeah, but with the lender logic is again, even after the consultant has inspected the work done already, we as a safety measure, we hold the 10% of the amount requested for each draw. to again, to make sure we don't run into any situation where, you know, you continue with your renovation work and something happened, you discover something that even the HUD consultant maybe know, or nobody, you know, working on the project foresaw, right? So again, just as a safety measure too. But the amount held on the contingency reserve will be basically so let's say if along the way at the end of the project there is nothing happened, they did not have to use the contingency reserve, so the reserve amount could be released back to the borrower, or they could be used to reduce the total loan amount.
And the mortgage readjust at that time?
A great question. So basically during the renovation project work, the borrower pays interest on the loan, only interest on the loan, and the loan, the interest could be if let's say during the renovation phase of project is project, if the borrower is not able to occupy the property for some reason, then they could actually add the interest for all those months into the loan itself. So, but it's only in situation where they're not able to occupy the property during the renovations process. And so once the basically once the you know, the job is done, then the loan will be fully amortized. Yeah, becomes a fully amortized loan.
So these are FHA guidelines.
So FHA, right, is an FHA
It's not a
program.
vendor guideline.
It's not. So we obviously we follow the
Guideline.
the guideline of the FHA and also HUD too, because we sell the loan to you know, HUD. Right. And it says right here, escrow waivers are not permitted. So basically, under the renovation FHA renovation loan program, the property tax and insurance will have to be impounded. I guess just like a regular, you know, renovation FHA loan, right? It's already impounded. So. Financeable costs. Maybe Brandon, you want to maybe touch on cover these items right here. So these all, you know, costs that could be financed, I guess, in the loan itself.
For the 5,000 minimum eligible for repairs and improvements, no maximum. Well, they can only be included on the loan, right?
Yeah. So right here, yeah. So these are the so you have right here, right? It says all the costs, financeable. Basically, all these costs could be, you know, financed through the loan, the renovation loan, your renovation cost, fees, and reserves. So here you have your hard costs, your architectural fees, your engineering fees, your consultant fees. So all of these could be financed through the loan. That means the loan could help to cover all these costs. I mean, most of these costs are associated with your FHA standard one, right? And your limited one, mainly just a hard cost. You don't have these, you know, architectural fees, your engineering fees, your consultant fees are not required under the FHA limited one. So generally, these are formally HUD used for consultant fees, right? So it depends on the repair costs involved. So this is how much they basically these are the maximum amount that the HUD consultant could charge the borrower. So again, it's just based on the repair, basically involved. So the maximum they could charge is basically up to $1,000 for the whole, if your project is over 100,000. And again, we'll just quickly go over. So these are the items that could be included in the loan amount to help the borrowers basically pay for these costs right here and fees. And you have your title, because we have to update the title information after certain, like after every inspections, or well, it says after every 60 days. And contingency reserve, again, regarding that amount held, so usually it's 10%. We hold 10%, but if let's say the utilities in the property is not working, is not functioning, in some cases we have to increase it to up to 15%. Yes, a little worse.
See, this is the part that I don't understand about this program. I have lenders, I have projects that I have done, and on the first withdrawal, they don't hold it because the first withdrawal is only for soft costs. Soft costs is nothing to do with the house. So they don't charge for that. They release the money and say, go ahead and do your inspections. Once you get all that approved, then they release it. Then they release the second part. And then the second part is for cost, material. They don't take that money because money is money, cost is cost. This is gonna cost this much. They know already, boom. So on the third or fourth time they release, that's when they start holding money.
So it was also like a renovation loan
yes.
they're using?
And then
Okay.
by the third time they're releasing the money for actually construction, they're holding 50%. But on the third time,
15%. Okay.
once it's done, that is approved, they release that 50% on the next withdrawal. So they never hold money. They're always giving it to you because you need that money for other expenses.
That's probably, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Investment properties and other type of loans.
Yeah,
Like
yes.
It could be, it could be.
So you're comparing apples to
Well, but
oranges,
it's
something different.
true.
Because we're talking about first-time home buyers or people that they fit into this guideline. You're talking about investors.
Yeah, maybe
No,
fix and
not
flip
really.
loan.
It was a first time buyer thing.
Oh,
It was
okay.
a special, I don't know.
But
It
it was,
could be
it
something
probably
else.
was not falling to this guideline. So that's maybe.
Yeah.
That's what I kept.
It seems like right there. I think it seems like you do a lot of kind of work for investors and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So maybe I mean it could be right. Could be like a hard money loan situation or a fix and flip kind of loan situation from private lender. So obviously their requirements probably are not going to be as strict as an FHA or a home style, a conventional Fannie Mae loan. So I think these have to do with again with these two programs that we talked about. If you use a private lender, I think they should be most likely more more lenient or more flexible, I think. And the only thing is it probably costs more too, right? But again, we'll confirm if you want to kind of double check on this. I'll be able to help you. Brenda and I will try to verify this for you. Okay. Like I said, this is not something we do all the times. I mean, Brenda has done a couple. I myself try a couple, but unfortunately, the loan fell through. So this is not something we do all the time. I mean, it's very rarely, unfortunately. But this is a tool that many borrowers could use. I mean, to buy property that could be that are not as attractive to your average buyers. And if they have the income to qualify, they could get a loan to buy this property. So the renovation loan applies to both purchases and refinancing, right? Refinance. So if you have a home that requires, renovations and you want to, and you don't have the money to do that, so this is a way to apply for it. Or if you are looking to maybe to buy a property that is not as basically that requires renovation work, this could be a way to do it, and maybe not having to pay the market price for it. So again, these are the tools to help both the borrowers, maybe a certain segment of the home buyers, and also this is a tool for you, the agents, to maybe to sometimes to talk to your borrowers about, right? Instead of just helping them finding your average, good-looking home that is ready to be,
But
moved
also any
into.
listings that the seller doesn't want to put any improvements on the property. Sometimes they
True,
just don't wanna
exactly.
put,
Mhm.
It says property sold as is conditions, then you guys know that there's this type of programs that the property can qualify even though it's not a livable condition. We can make it livable.
Right.
So the
So-
seller can sell the property, get rid of it.
And the buyer could, apply for this loan to help purchase the property and also to pay for renovation costs before they move into the property.
Yeah, so just understand that this isn't gonna be your typical transaction. It's just a tool to have in the back of your mind. Should it come up, I mean, realistically, right now, while more and more sellers will maybe entertain it, but for the past couple of years,
Yeah.
they would stray away from this for sure.
Right.
I mean, with the type of offers they're getting, and all cash. But, moving forward, it's not a bad thing to have in the back of your mind should you run into a situation where the house and the borrower both qualify for it, and you have a cooperating listing, seller. I mean, the odds of having all those pieces of the puzzle come together are not very likely in this market, but it's a tool for agent to have in the back of their mind, should they run into that situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, back to what you're saying, right now is the market for this kind of program. But let me understand this. So I got a guy, he said, I can only qualify because you already qualified for 500,000. So we're looking for a house of 100,000. Then we find a house that is 500,000, but it needs work, or it needs maybe 100,000 more.
Right.
How are we gonna do that? How does because you already qualified for this amount in the regular. But he found this house that is huge, blah, 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 but he needs $100,000 of renovation. Are you gonna be able to do that?
He needs to
He
stay with
doesn't
the,
qualify, right?
Yeah, he needs
he
to.
needs to stay with the 500,000.
Yeah.
So you need to
Find
sell him a
a-
house or find a cheaper house, so he can go up to 500.
Right, because
So
these
it's a
are,
Total sales.
Total.
yeah, these are full docs programs, so whatever loan amount you need will still need to be, qualified based on the income.
Totally
Right.
understand.
Yeah,
I
still be,
understand.
yeah,
This is FHA loan, I know.
exactly.
But as far as I know, FHA only has moving condition moves, that this is something new that you can fix your house.
Right, exactly.
Because there's gonna be a lot of people saying, well, I qualify for this, but let me have more money so I can do this.
Right.
And you have to explain it, no, you only qualify for this, I cannot give you more. You see, you don't face that situation, I do. People come and tell you stupid thing like, oh, but there's a program that is saying this,
Yeah, that's where you just have to educate them and tell them,
That's
this is your
what-
max.
that's what I was saying, yeah, that's okay, see you later.
Even if they want.
How come you have not talked to us about those scenarios? We haven't not.
I
talked-
already did, I just did.
Oh, okay. But you already turned down the borrowers.
Of course, because they're looking for something that it doesn't exist
But even,
on the back market.
I
Now, maybe this market is something else.
well, even if the borrower wanted to buy that house, it wouldn't qualify if it needed that much work.
But yeah, but
So
they
it
didn't
would.
prove it. The
Even-
thing
even
is
on-
that they fall in love. This is what I want, and this is a program.
And that's just,
That's
they
the
can
thing.
fall in love all they want, but just be
Exactly.
realistic. You know, I want a Bentley too, but.
We better know you're in love with the Bentley, but,
Yeah, we better know before we show in the house.
yeah. But maybe not, because people sometimes get sick in one city, but maybe in another
Exactly.
city that they wanna buy. Riverside County, I mean, other counties that they can also qualify for this program.
Yeah,
They can probably have a little bit of more chances of finding that.
See, now calling you.
the only
Yeah.
resolution I would recommend in that type of instance is pay off some debt, so you have more room for mortgage.
Right,
Yeah, in the
right.
past, even
Yeah.
the listing agent, they put it down, you can go apply for renovation, something, they know that, guideline.
The guideline, the process and everything.
If you can get the seller to pay concessions, like for their closing costs and their down payment, or, you know, so they can come in with as little as possible, or even zero, then you can use the money that they had to put down towards some debt that they have, so that they can qualify for more house and stuff. But, you know, the numbers are the numbers. There's no magical wand that you can press. Here's your DTI and this is what you qualify for, unfortunately. Or
So
give me a
the
call
minimum
sign.
is 5,000. They lend it to you.
The
It's not the minimum, you know, the regulation fee is a minimum 5,000.
right minimum
So
eligible
sometimes it's
repair and
only 10,000,
improvement.
you know, to fix the house. Okay.
Let's continue.
Yes,
We have
yeah,
like
so
2
just a
minutes.
couple of items again, I guess I'm glad that we kind of have questioned regarding each of the items we discussed.
Always come up with.
Yeah, and this is just the Hud Consultant information, again, just requirements, if anybody's interested. So the information, I'll email everything to Ruben and
Awesome,
Edgar,
yeah.
so yeah, you could just blast all these out. So again, it's just more, if you want a little more details regarding how, why, and when, you know, a HUD consultant might be needed. Again, the information here will tell you exactly. And again, it just has to do with the type, which type you're going with, the standard 203K or your limited 203K. And I think we're almost done, but let's talk about the improvements, right? What type of,
Yeah.
and identity of interest, that means under the program, you the borrower and your sometimes your HUD consultant and your general contractor cannot be family members. So they do have some restriction on that. And this tells the information here shows you basically what type of improvements could be done under your standard 2 or 3K versus your limited. So the main thing is under the standard 2 or 3K, your you know, if the project involves some sort of structural you know, kind of work to be done on the property, you know, repairing, reconstructing, you know, elevating an existing foundation. So all the more serious work to be done on the property, then you need to go through the your standard 2 or 3K. And on this side, you know, you have you're more like, you know, just remodeling your kitchen, you know, changing the floors, repainting the property or your house. So again, that doesn't involve, you know, removing the foundations or any structural kind of work. Again, you'll be able, you will get a copy of whatever we go through, so you'll be able to kind of, you know, read the information on your own if you like. And this one, ineligible improvement. It says right here, so with the limited 2 or 3K, you know, renovation activity that require more than 2 payments per specialized contractor. I guess you know, because 2 or 3K doesn't involve a lot of serious work, so I think they have, you know, restriction on how on how much work each contractor can provide on the project. So if the work require more than 2 payment per specialized contractor, then you know, that's not allowed. And it says right here, repairs that prevent borrower from occupying property more than 15 days during the renovation is not allowed under this limited 2 or 3K. And they have a couple other things right here. And here, so these are applies to both the limited and the standard 2 or 3K. So new construction is not allowed. So you cannot apply the 2 or 3K loan to new construction. So any work performed or material purchased prior to closing is not eligible to be financed into the loan. And so recreational or luxury improvement are not allowed, and such as you adding a tennis courts or you know, like installing some sort of like a swimming pool, like a new swimming pool. I mean, you can do work on the existing swimming pool, but you cannot use the renovation loan to add like a new swimming pool. And again, you know, you have a list right here of stuff that are not allowed under the 2 or 3K. And yeah, so during the renovation project, you know, you gotta have the homeowner insurance. And in some cases, you gotta have the builder. The builder also needs to carry their own insurance to cover anything that might happen during the renovation work. And loan limits apply to you know, based on, again, your county, based on your FHA or conventional loan program. So it depends on the guideline. Property type insurance PMI, which is just like a regular, you know, your FHA PMI. And so eligible property under the 2-3 code programs are your 1 to 4 unit owner occupy only. Your HUD, you know, property, modular homes, PUD, town homes, warrantable condo. And you see, condos are usually not allowed, but unless it's approved by, you know, by HUD. And renovation work are limited to the interior of the dwelling units, except for installation of firewalls in the attic or the dwelling units. And these are the requirements, you know, for your condo in order to use the 2 or 3K program for condo. You have to meet all these requirements. And these are the ineligible property. We would not be able to use the 2 or 3K program for these properties.
Texas, huh?
Yeah, I guess Texas doesn't do 2 or 3K.
How is new?
Most of them are.
Yeah. And the now
ADU? What's that, property with ADU?
property with ADU,
Yeah.
yes,
No, right?
Which one are you
I
looking?
saw this ADU there.
So it's right here, property with ADU
No.
They don't
dwelling unit.
qualify.
They don't qualify. Yeah, right. Yeah. And then, you know, mobile home, your mixed use property, non-warrantable condos. Investment properties are not okay to, are not allowed.
Those warrantable.
Non-warrantable. This one,
What does it mean?
Rentable condos.
What does it mean?
not,
They're not FHA. They're
not
not FHA.
approved, yeah.
The complex is not FHA.
Yeah, some condos not.
But not the co-ops. Co-op is not included.
co-op
Co-op,
is
different
right here,
stores.
co-ops here, not allowed to.
Not allowed.
commercial property, not applicable.
Hotel.
And I think the qualified opportunity zone, basically, I guess the government, the Treasury Department designate a certain community as so-called qualified opportunity zone. So with this, I believe, you know, your repair amount could be a little higher than your 35,000, you know.
Opportunity zone.
Yeah, in the opportunity zone, right? They have a little more lenient. And they allow the cost to be, I think like for your 2 or 3K limited, could be up to 50,000 as opposed to like 35,000. And these are just mainly just under, this for lender. So let me see what else, the timeline. Well, let me go to self-help. So there's only certain situation would we allow, or the lender allow, self-help kind of work by the borrower, right? So self-help is defined as the borrower performing some of the work items on the project. Basically, borrower must execute some sort of a, you know, like agreement with the lender, right? To identify the work they're gonna do themselves, you know, the material involves and the cost, and they also have to finish the whatever they do, they plan to work on that by themselves. They have to get it done within 6 months too, which is the time allowed for the whole project. So basically, after we close the loan, the work can begin, and the borrower has 6 months to complete the work, all the work. I think we do allow some extension, that's very limited. So here allow, these are the items allow that the homeowner could work on: the minor demo work, interior painting, installation of appliances, and cleanup. So not a lot of you know, work that maybe requires more experience and stuff like that. And borrower is not allowed to act as a general contractor.
So even the borrower is a general contractor.
Yeah, they're not allowed to do that. I mean, they could do some work again, you know, just minor stuff, but not as a general contractor on their own project. So timeline, renovation timeline, right? Renovation may not begin prior to closing of the loan. Renovation work must begin within 30 days of closing and may not stop for any period more than 30 days. And renovation must be completed within 6 months after closing. Consideration should be given to you know, I guess I assume when you work with a general contractor who's experienced and who has done work in the area, they should know, I guess, you know, how to plan ahead of time, hopefully. And renovation works extension can be granted within the 6 months window. However, the extension can only be granted if the loan payments are current. So like I said, you know, during the loan, that 6-month loan process, the borrower pays interest on the loan, and if, as long as they make payment on time, then the lender will be more, I guess, I guess willing to maybe grant an extension if they need extension on the work. So, and DRMC to approve in advance any work or project changes or extensions. So obviously before closing a loan, we already have everything out. We have, your consultant, kind of approving the project, and the consultant would have all the items to be done. I mean, So the basically the consultant and the general contractor work together, make sure whatever to be done on the project, on the project, has to be followed through, basically like what they basically put on their write-ups or on their, proposals. And if they, for some reason, they need to make any changes along the way, they need to have the lender approve that in advance. And I think that's it. I think we already 11:35, so I think, we pretty much done with the presentations.
If you send me that, I'll send it out to everybody.
Sure.
Again, this is not a, tool that you use every day or market, but, something to be aware of. And, know that you have that option. If it arises, but it's not your like run of the mill everyday situation.
Very true, absolutely.
Okay.
It's just like, just an extra tool, to think about if you run into a situation like this. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for attending. Have a, good day. Let me check real quick to see if anybody has any question, but I don't believe.
There's a
so.
chat box.
Right, this is a chat box. Yeah.
Next one.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Okay, there's no question.
Well, if you guys do have any questions, Redland's or Diamond's phone number and give them a call.
And Brenda also, don't forget
And
Brenda. She's standing right there
She's the
while
one-
I'm sitting down.
And she did bring some
Yes,
snacks.
yes,
So
thank you.
too bad we all ate it.
Thank you, Carla, for attending. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.